In problem 9 and in problem 11, which look very similar, we're asked to simplify the expression. As a reminder, when you have the same base and you're multiplying, you're going to add the exponents. So I'm going to rewrite this in rational exponent form. So I have x to the 1/4 times x to the 2/3 times x to the negative 1/2. And on the bottom I have x to the 1/3 times x to the 1/4. So using a calculator, I'm going to add up these three to get an answer. 1/4, 2/3, and negative 1/2. Make sure to use your parentheses. 1/4, 2/3, and negative 1/2. Let's make sure I plug that in right. Negative 1/2, 2/3, and 1/4. Okay. I'm going to turn it back into a fraction by hitting math, fraction, enter, enter. So 5/12 is our reduced answer on top. And now I'm going to do the same for the bottom. 1/3 and 1/4. Once again, when you have the exact same base and you're multiplying, you add the exponents. So 1/3 and 1/4 added together. 1 divided by 3 plus 1 divided by 4. Sorry for the glare. Turn it back into a fraction by hitting math, fraction, enter, enter. And we have 7/12. Similar to the fact that when you multiply, you add exponents when you have the same base. Well, when you have the same base and you're dividing, you subtract. It's top exponent, subtract bottom exponent. And most of us can see in this case that we already have a common denominator, so we can simply subtract the top and reduce. But if that's not your forte, you can definitely use a calculator. So make sure to use parentheses. See if I can go somewhere we don't see glare. 5 divided by 12, subtract 7 divided by 12. Okay, then turn it back into a fraction by hitting math, fraction, enter, enter. So x raised to the negative 1/6. That is correct, but ideally we don't want to write a final answer with a negative exponent. So I'm going to write 1 over x to the 1/6. Next, I'm going to skip 10 and come back to it in the next video. And I'm going to go on to 11, which is very similar to number 9. Okay, so I'm going to start by rewriting these in rational exponent form. The nth root always goes on the bottom. And when you don't see an nth root, remember it's a hidden 2. So I'm going to add 2/3, 1/4, and negative 2/3 on top. And those are just going to cancel out, as you can see. And turn it back into a fraction. And we have 1/4. So if you're able to see that, the positive 2/3 and negative 2/3 canceled when you're adding, and you ended up with 1/4. Okay, now we're going to take the top exponent and we're going to subtract it from the bottom. So 1/4 minus 1/2. Again, some of you already know the answer. If not, feel free to rely on the calculator. 1/4 minus 1/2. Turn it back into a fraction by hitting math, fraction, enter, enter. We have an answer of negative 1/4. Okay, this is not happy on top. It goes to the bottom, and it is now happy.